Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says his government has struck a $59 million deal with the city of Vaughan, Ontario to fast-track the construction of thousands of new housing units over the next 3 to 10 years. The deal is the second such agreement that Liberal government has signed under its Housing Accelerator Fund. According to a media statement, the funding will fast-track over 1,700 new housing units over the next 3 years and help spur the construction of more than 40,000 homes over the next decade. Let's listen to what Prime Minister Trudeau said in Vaughan.
There is an urgency in our communities. There's an urgency to build more homes and to bring the prices of housing down. Stephen knows this. Stephen knows this because his city, Vaughan, is one of the fastest growing cities in Canada. He wants people to be able to live here and succeed, including middle-class families and young people. And we all know that if we want people to succeed, we need more homes in Vaughan, we need more homes across the GTA, we need more homes right across the country. That's exactly why we launched the Housing Accelerator Fund, to build more homes faster in partnership. The Housing Accelerator Fund works as an incentive for municipalities to cut red tape and remove barriers. When we launched the fund, we were clear that there are too many barriers that make it too hard to build the homes we need in our communities. We were clear that local rules had to change, and local governments, with our support, had to think bigger and even more ambitious. Well, today's agreement with the City of Vaughan will help us fast-track the building of thousands of homes in the coming years. The agreement will allow for high-density development near public transit, including GO train and subway stations. It'll prioritize apartment buildings and affordable housing, and it will amend a zoning bylaw to allow for the construction of up to 4 residential units on a single lot. This is going to be really powerful here in Vaughan.
Vaughan Mayor Stephen Del Duca described the announcement as phenomenal for the people of his city. Del Duca said, "Thank you so much for making this investment in our city to help make sure that we have more affordable and accessible housing options for the people that call this incredible community home." Trudeau said the agreement will allow for the construction of high-density housing near public transit, including both GO train and subway stations. The deal will also prioritize the building of apartments and affordable housing, fix outdated permitting systems to speed up development, said a government statement. The Housing Accelerator Fund was first announced during the 2021 election campaign and was introduced in the 2022 federal budget that allocates $4 billion until 2026-27 to encourage more home building in cities. The Housing Accelerator Fund's stated objective is to build 100,000 more units across the country that would have been built without the fund by streamlining land use planning and development approvals. Municipalities with population of more than 10,000 can apply by pitching initiatives to increase the annual rate of home building in their cities by at least 10%. Last month, Trudeau announced the first deal under the Housing Accelerator Fund with the City of London, Ontario. Under that deal, the city got $74 million to help build 2,000 new homes over 3 years. A day after the announcement, Trudeau said his government would be eliminating the GST from the construction of new rental apartments to spur new development. When asked if his government efforts to tackle housing crisis are coming too late to make a significant difference, Trudeau defended his government's record. He said, "We have been investing over the past many years in a national housing strategy that has delivered homes for 2 million Canadian families, but there is a lot more to do." Trudeau accused Conservative MPs of holding up legislation in the House of Commons to strip the GST from rental construction. Trudeau said, "We are finally moving forward as quickly as possible on this bill. The Conservative Party of Canada is choosing to obstruct debate on this. We know we need to deliver this quickly." During the announcement, Prime Minister Trudeau was also asked if his government will go ahead with the proposed $1 billion cut to the annual budget of Department of National Defence. This is what he said.
No, because there are no cuts to our military. Every year, we increase our spending on military. We've increased military expenditures by 70% over these past years and into the future, and we're going to continue to invest billions more, including $38 billion for NORAD modernization. We're continuing to move forward with significant upgrades, investments in strong, secure, and engaged, and in the future of our Canadian Armed Forces. Every year we invest more in the men and women who defend our country. We are making sure, as all households are doing across the country, that we're spending on the right things and we're cutting away extra expenditures that are unnecessary. But every year we are spending more on the military and will continue to.
Earlier Thursday, the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation (CMHC) issued a report showing that while new home construction inched up by 1% in the first half of this year, that increase was largely driven by growth in Toronto and Vancouver, while home building almost everywhere else contracted. Of the 6 cities examined, CMHC said Vancouver and Toronto recorded growth in housing starts over last year of 49% and 32% respectively. Montreal saw 58% fewer housing starts compared with the first half of 2022. Edmonton and Ottawa saw decreases of 29% and 18% respectively, and Calgary's housing starts were flat. The booming construction in Toronto and Vancouver can be attributed to projects that got started a while ago, before interest rates rose, said Kevin Hughes, CMHC's deputy chief economist. Last month, CMHC released a report estimating that another 3.5 million housing units will be required by 2030, over and above the number of units expected to be built by that time in order to restore housing affordability to 2004 levels. That report said in 2003-2004, an average household in Ontario spent about 40% of its disposable income to cover the annual cost of owning a house. While that figure was 45% in BC by 2021, that had risen to 60%.